Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all well. The time of recording this video, it's Friday the 19th, I think, of January, but this won't be up until 26th, 27th of January. This is prepping myself all in advance. Anyway, as you can tell from the title, we've got a beer from a brewery out of America. It's Stone Brewing. And this is their IPA, and it's a West Coast style IPA, and I picked this up from Asda. It's a pint can, it coming at £4, but it's actually on a 4 for 3, so I got 4 cans of this for 12 quid. Now I think for a full pint can of an IPA that is 6.9%, I think that is pretty decent. Now I have had this many moons ago. I've seen 2 reviews of it as well, actually, Northern Southerner and the Urban Viking Ale review. But I had this many moons ago, and I'm not sure if I actually picked it up from Asda back then or actually got it from Beer Hawk when they used to sell cans. But I believe it was a 355ml can at the time. Still the same ABV as it was then, pretty certain. So we are going to give it a go. Good reviews on it, and I recall it being a decent beer back then, but we will see what it's like now. So there we go. There's another quick look at the artwork. I don't even think the artwork has changed. The can is just bigger than 355ml that I had. On the back, I think it says on here this was actually first brewed in 1997. This beer is actually 28 years old, and bearing in mind it's craft beer, this is quite possibly the starting of all craft beer. The hops in this beer are Magnum, Chinook, Centennial, Azaka, Calypso, Ella and Vic's Secret, and it's same flavour notes: lemon peel, tropical and dank. So I'm going to stop talking now. I don't have a Stone Brewing glass, but we are going to whack it in this Lagunitas pint glass. Lagunitas is sort of West Coast style as well. So let's open this up and see what we get. It is chilled, it's got to be said. So we'll give it a go, isn't it? Let's give it a go. It's a Friday night, why not? So West Coast style, I certainly don't mind a West Coast style. Certainly growing on me a little bit. But we'll see what this one is like. Like I said, many moons ago that I had this, way before reviewing as well. So it would have been at least 5 years ago since I'd had this beer. So beer in a glass, there we go. Definitely got that West Coast orange, golden, ambery look, if you want to call it that. There's a bit of carbonation going up the middle of the glass, as you can see. And we got a good thick finger of compact white head. So yeah, I'm going to say it looks pretty much as you'd expect. I mean, the West Coast isn't sort of one that is hazy. There is the slightest of hazes to this, but they don't tend to be sort of like a thick hazy sort of style of beer. So I'm going to stop talking. We are going to give it a swirl, and we're going to have a sniff. Let's dive in with the nose. Okay. Yeah, the more I get my nose in, I'm certainly getting a big sort of orange citrus note. That sort of West Coast feel going on there. I wasn't getting a lot to start off with, but when you get the nose right in there, malty, grapefruit, bit of pine, I'm going to say. Resinous sort of sappy feel going on. There is a lot going on. Feels very traditional, very old school. It almost feels, on the aroma, almost a pithy aroma and almost a bitter aroma as well. So I'm going to give it a top up. We'll get some more in there. And we'll dive in and give it a go. But like I say, I remember this beer being pretty damn decent, 6.9%, a pint can, this day and age, £4 and part of a 4 for 3, that is coming in at £3 at what I bought them for. It's bound to be well worth the money. So I'm going to stop talking. Stone Brewing and their IPA that's been out for 28 years, 6.9% from Asda. Well, let's dive in, give her a taste. Cheers, everyone. Cool, blimey. Wow. Cool, that is West Coast. That is West Coast in a traditional sort of style, but what it's got is that West Coast bitterness, exactly what you expect. Cool, blimey, and that lingers and lingers, and it's still lingering, and it's like it starts at the front of your palate and just keeps going and keeps going. Let's go in again. A good body. You could look at it maybe and say, well, it's 6.9%. It's not that heavy. I think it's deceiving. I think it's got a drinkability and a body of a very easy drinking beer, but there is weight there. It is a heavy beer. I think it's kind of deceiving. I think it just goes down so easy. The body you almost dismiss. The carbonation in it is there. Minimal, excuse me. Small bubbles, soft, and definitely doesn't ruin the mouthfeel. Yeah, you feel it. Has got that zinginess, but the bubbles are small, so it doesn't interfere with the mouthfeel at all. If anything, it probably brings them flavours out. Smooths, drinks well, goes down well. That bitterness is full on. I'll tell you what, it's been a long time, I would say, that since I've had a West Coast, and this is, they call it West Coast style, so you could even argue that it's maybe not full on West Coast, but the bitterness there, my God, and that bitterness, it feels like it's coating the palate and just going further and further down, sort of like down my throat, and it just keeps kind of building. A massive bitterness on it. Lemon peel, I'm going to say, yeah, you get that lemon peel note. Pithy, grapefruit, pithy, pine, resinous, sappy, a malty thing going along behind all that. Definitely hoppy, as you would expect, but you get that sort of malt note going along in the background, which makes it feel sort of traditional. Now, if it's been out since '97 and it's 28 years old, I'm guessing craft beer, or the start of any sort of particular sort of craft beer, would have sort of had very much a traditional feel. Obviously, over time, things have changed. But yeah, it's got it. You know, it is a craft beer, but very much has that old school sort of feel to it. There's orange in there. Tropical, it says. And dank. It's a different sort of dank to how I look at how things are dank. It's always very hard how some people look at dank or look at certain flavours. For me, this is a very dry sort of beer that takes any moisture out your palate, which then makes you go back in for more. Dank, I wouldn't necessarily call it dank in the sense that I call it dank or think of dankness. I always think dank and musty. I think what this is a very drying sort of beer. The tropical notes, I'm not sure I'm kind of getting. You may need a bit more of maybe a refined palate, but I wouldn't say I'm necessarily getting tropical. I'm getting a lot of citrus sort of notes. But there's a lot going on with it. And that bitterness is relentless. Yeah, I've still got a bit in the can. So by the time I top this up, yeah, I've probably drunk half a pint of this. But that bitterness is relentless, and it keeps going and it keeps going. I think for maybe some people, maybe just trying this now, this would really smack them in the chops and they wouldn't be used to it. I think this feels more bitter than it ever was. So I think if you're into West Coast, unless you've sort of been into them for a long time and you like huge bitterness, this may not appeal to you. But it also may well just wow you with the bitterness that you get from it. Really does glide down. The 6.9%, no massive overpowering alcohol taste, in my opinion. But you get that essence of 6.9%. I mean, it's not one that you're going to sit and drink and not notice it, but you are getting, you're not going to notice it. What I'm trying to say is you don't notice it, but in the background you know it's there. So it's not going to be one you just keep chucking down and then all of a sudden you're battered. You know that alcohol's there, but it's not in your face. But at the same time, this is a very drinkable beer that does go down very well. What do I think of it? It is a belter, and it is worth every single penny. I mean, even at £4, if you're just buying one can of this at £4, that is well worth the money. That is full on West Coast with the old school sort of feel. If you like your West Coasts and you like them proper bitter, this will knock your chops off, I tell you, and your socks off. It will slap you in the chops and it will knock your socks off. If you're more of a modern day sort of West Coast drinker, maybe a little bit bitter for you, but I would highly recommend picking this up. And if you buy 4 for £3 and get 4 cans for like £12, so it works out £3 each. Absolute steal, absolute steal. So yeah, my view on Stone Brewing IPA, a massive thumbs up. People definitely need to try that. It is well worth a gamble. Expect to have the old mouth slapped, expect to be slapped in the face and your mouth pulled to bits and what have you from the bitterness. But yeah, a great beer. So I'm going to stop talking there, 13 minutes in. Thank you all for watching. If you've had this beer before, let me know your thoughts on it. Give it a go. It's got to be done. See you on another one. Cheers.